So today I'm gonna be making gumbo for you. With the weather getting a little bit cooler and got a cold front coming through here in Texas, it's down in the 50s. Usually have everybody around this time wants to start making soup and start making like all of like the comfort meals and what like that. And my go-to comfort meal is gumbo. So I love making gumbo. You know, it's a very controversial recipe. I mean, you have people think that this is the right way, or either that's the wrong way, or either you gotta put this in it, or either you don't do this, or either you're not from a certain part of Louisiana, the South, or one like that. And it could get, you know, really heated. So I have all of my ingredients right here. I ended up making my own stock. I bought 2 rotisserie chickens. They were at Kroger on sale for like $5, you know, each. So I came back and I tore those apart, put them in the pot, and then I kept the shrimp shells that I had too, from the peeled shrimp that I have that's sitting inside the fridge. And I kept those too so I could make a chicken seafood broth. So I thought about throwing in like some bay leaves and like some peppercorns and all that stuff like into the chicken stock when I ended up putting it in the pan. But you can just do all that like if you want to get fancy and stuff like that. But I ain't trying to get fancy though. So I ended up buying up 2 chickens. I ended up tearing them apart. I ended up shredding the meat. Ended up boiling the chicken bones with the shrimp shells. I threw in the shrimp shells like the last 5-10 minutes of me boiling the shrimp stock down, and then I drained it all in a strainer, and I have my broth sitting over here to the side. So that is how I got my broth. Like I said though, I'm making 2 different versions right here, but it's just basically just gonna be the same thing. One of them's gonna have okra, the other one is not. My mother doesn't like okra and she's coming through to come get some gumbo, so I gotta make a separate pan for her, or else she's gonna complain and I gotta hear her. You know, but it's all good though. But, oh, and then, yeah, I mean like there are right and wrong ways to make gumbo, but there's just some shit that is just like blatantly wrong. Like I seen somebody putting corn inside a gumbo. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not supposed to go with that. Like this is gross. You know what I mean? Like come on, man. But you don't put no fucking corn in gumbo, but whatever. But I have all of my ingredients here. I have everything laid out. I already chopped up my holy trinity, which was the onions, the bell peppers, and the celery. And I chopped up a whole, not clove, what is it? A whole stalk of garlic, which is like 7 or 8 of those cloves in there. And I just sliced them very thinly. Got them right here, you'll see in a second, once I go over the ingredients. And then of course I got my fajita, or my fajita seasoning, something like that. I live by, I mean, I'm telling you, I stand by this. Like this, you could put this in a lot of different meals and it's really good seasoned salt. It's just not known, but I stand by this like a lot. And then of course you have your cayenne pepper and your Cajun seasoning. I mean, you could basically put in, salt it with whatever salted seasonings you find that are best for your gumbo. But I just tend to find this is really good for salt, you know, like, you know, part of the salt wise. But you have your garlic salt, you have your onion powder, your thyme, bay leaves and stuff, and I'll go over all that. That's how I did the stock. I'm a pan ready. Basically have everything good to go so that you can just walk through it, just follow simple steps, and I'll try not to talk as much. I'll just try to show you what I'm doing. So I have my holy trinity, onions, bell pepper, celery, shredded chicken, garlic, the andouille sausage and Cajun sausage that I ended up buying and slicing, my okra, and my seasonings. I got my crawfish and my shrimp sitting in the sink, defrosting. And what I'll do is you start off with 1 cup of oil, of vegetable oil. Then I like to add my sausage once the oil is up to a medium-high heat, and just give that a nice simmer on all sides. Make sure that it's evenly spread out so that you have all the sausages gonna be cooking evenly and all together. After about 15 minutes, you're gonna leave it in there. Just keep stirring, just keep mixing, because you wanna brown your sausage first. Then after about 20 minutes, 15-20 minutes, you wanna start taking it out, just remove it. All the sausage, you wanna get all those pieces, one by one. Then you're gonna add your cup of flour. Now what I like to do is I like to add half first, and then give that a nice whisk, move it around, make sure that it's all incorporated nice in there. Then I like to add the other half, because you don't want it to get too clumpy. And just giving it a nice whisk. And this is gonna simmer now for about an hour, low and slow. So then after about an hour, your roux should look like this. Some people like theirs darker. Then you're gonna add your Holy Trinity. Make sure you get everything out there, mix it, give it a nice mix all together. Then you're gonna add your garlic. Don't forget to add your garlic. And you're gonna mix that all together. And these are gonna cook for about 15 to 20 minutes on a medium-high heat. You can cover the pot with the top so that you can let them sweat down if you want to, or you can just keep mixing slowly. But after about 15-20 minutes, they should be nice and mixed like this. So then you're gonna add your stock, which is about 64 ounces, which is equivalent to about 8 cups. Give that a nice mix, cover that, and let that simmer for about 15 minutes to get warm. Then you're gonna add about a tablespoon of cayenne pepper, a teaspoon of fresh thyme, about 4 bay leaves. Then I add about a tablespoon of onion powder, and about a tablespoon of garlic powder. You're gonna add your seasoned salt. I add about just like 3 tablespoons and give that a mix. After that, you're gonna cover, and that's gonna simmer for about 15 minutes, get warm. Then once that happens, then you're gonna add your shredded chicken and your sausage back into the mixture. And then give that a mix. To make sure that everything's incorporated. What I like to do is I like to add about 1 more cup of water. Give that a mixture. Then you're gonna keep that covered, and that's gonna simmer. After about 15 minutes, I add in some fresh cracked pepper, and then I like to add in about 3 tablespoons of Cajun seasoning. That a mix, and then leave that covered. This is gonna simmer on a medium-low heat for about 2 hours. So for about the last hour, I like to add the okra and the crawfish tails because those don't even take the longest to cook. I still haven't touched the shrimp yet. The shrimp is marinating in the fridge with some Cajun seasonings. I'll show you how I went about that, but that's gonna be fried separately because that I'm just gonna add into the bowls as it goes. I mean, you could add the shrimp at the end too, but like I said, you know, like the longer it gets in there, like the more rubbery it gets too. So, I mean, that's on you, but give me a couple seconds. I'm gonna add this okra. I already got that pot set aside for the non-okra gumbo, which is weird, but yeah, let me go ahead and finish this though, so we should be good. So after about 2 hours of simmering, you're gonna add your crawfish tails. Then you're gonna wanna add your okra. So about 4 bags of the little small okra. You can put as much as one in there, but I add about like 4 of those bags. So you want to give that a good mix because this is going to cook on medium-low for about an hour more. In a separate pan, I added about 1 tablespoon of butter, about 1.5 tablespoons, and some olive oil. Then you're gonna add your shrimp. Make sure that everything is evenly cooked at the bottom, so you wanna make sure that it's all nice and spread out evenly. Remember, shrimp don't take too long to cook, you know, maybe about 2 minutes on each side. Flip them and then they should look like this. And once you have that removed, I lied, I ended up putting the shrimp into the gumbo. And then once you add the shrimp, give that a mix. This is gonna cook for another 5 minutes. You're gonna wanna lower the heat. And then by this time, you can add in some hot sauce. This is what I like to do. I like to add in just some hot sauce into the mix and then give that a mix for the last 10 minutes. And then give that a cover. And then you can start plating. You can see I made a little bit of a mess off to the left, but it all came out good to go. So this is after about 3 hours of like total cooking time. Yep. And you can add some fresh green onions and some fresh parsley if you want. I like to add some red pepper flakes on the mine. And then some freshly cracked black pepper. And there you go. That's a gumbo.